So now it's time to start with the CSS part of the project, but before moving forward, we need to actually change the ID name a little bit. So here I have actually used the same name as like the class name. So I need to here make a difference. So I'm going to use here a result hyphen container. So this will be the ID name for the result container. Okay, now I'm going to control save it, and then I'm going to actually open my style.css file. Now inside of this particular file, first we need to select the body element. So here I'm going to select the body element. So this is the body element, and inside of the body element we need to select the margin. So I'm going to first reset the default styling, which is the browser style, which is margin 0, padding 0. Then I'm going to use the background. So this will be like I am going to use here a linear gradient color. So that is the reason I am actually here use the background. Then it is going to like to right, then comma, and not a dot. Here we need to specify the comma, and after that we need to specify the color code. So the first color code is like FE, or I can say 7E, and then we need to specify 5F. So this will be the first color for the gradient. Then again we need to use the hash symbol, then FEB, then 47B. So this will be the color code. Now if I control save it, you can see the default styling and also the background color, which is a linear gradient color, is actually applied to the background of the project. Then I need to change the font family. So font family I will be using here like Arial, and then I'm going to remove this Helvetica one. Okay, and I'm control save it, and you can see now the font of the project is also changed. So that's it for the body part of the project. Then I'm going to select the container, because inside of that everything is actually presented. So the first thing is I'm going to specify the max width to the container, which is going to be like 600 pixel. And after that, I'm going to specify the margin. So margin is going to like 200 pixel, and from left and right it is going to like auto. And then it is like padding, which is going to like 20 pixel. If I control save it, you can see now our content is actually moved a little bit from the top to 200 pixel. Alright, and now I'm going to specify the background color. So background color is going to hashtag 3 times F. Control save it, you can see now the background color is applied to the project. After that, for getting the rounded corners, we need the border radius property, not a border, we need a border radius property, which is like 8 pixel of the border. Control save it, you can see now we get the rounded corner borders. Then we need to apply the box shadow property, which is like 0. Then we need to apply here 2 pixel. Then for the blurriness it is going to like 4 pixel. Then RGBA function, so 0 0 0, and then the alpha is going to like 0.1. Now we get a little bit of the box shadow, and after that we need to use the animation. So animation is actually we want to create here a fade in animation, because our project has an animation also, which I have shown you in the preview part of the project. So this animation keyframes we need to create it. So I'm going to create these animation keyframe here. So the first thing is we need to use here @ keyframe. Then we need to specify the identifier. So identifier is like fade in, and then we need to use here a 0%. And after that we need to also use here a like for 0%, we need to also use here a 100%. And inside of the 0% we need to specify the code, which is the opacity. So it is like opacity. So opacity is going to be like 0, and then we need to use the transform or translate animation. So translate, so we want to translate it at the y-axis, so it is like -20 pixel. And then in the 100% we want to just simply want these two properties. I'm going to copy these two properties. Then we need to change the opacity to 1 and translate by to 0. If I control save it, you can see we get this slide animation, or you can say that the fade in animation. Okay, so this is for the fade in animation. We have specified the keyframes. Alright, so after doing this we need to style the header. So after the end of the keyframes, here we need to add the code for the header. So header, then we need to start the block of the code. So we want our header to be at the center of the screen. So text align, we are going to add the center. So text alignment center, and then we also need to add some bottom margin. So margin bottom is going to like 20 pixel. Okay, so this is for the header. Then we need to change the color of the h1 to little lighter version of the black. So here we want to specify the h1 element, and then we need to add the color, because we actually want to change the foreground color, which is the font color. So hashtag 3 times 3. So this will actually lighter this particular heading color. Alright, so that is for the h1 element. Then after that we need to add the code for the search container. So this will be the code for the search container. So I'm going to cross check it. the name of the search container, which is the search container here. So copy it, and I'm going to paste the name because I don't want to make any typo during the name of the search container. So the first thing is we need to set the display. So display is going to be like flex, and after that we need to set the align items property. So align items is going to be like center, and then we need to set the margin bottom property. So margin bottom is going to like 20 pixel. Alright, so this will be the code applied for the search container. You can see there is some changes applied to the search container, and then we need to actually style this input type. So here I'm going to select the input, then we need to specify the type. So I'm going to use here the array brackets type, and we need to specify the input type, which is actually of text. Then we need to start this block of the code. Instead of that, first we need to specify the flex. So flex is going to be 1. Alright, you can see now the input type actually flex increase means the width of the input type increase. Then we need to add the padding. So padding is going to be like 10 pixel. Okay, after applying the padding, then we need to add the font size property. So font size is going to like 16 pixel. And then we need to add the border radius property so that we get the rounded corners, which is like 4 pixel. And then we need to add the border. So we want to remove the border. So when I do that, then if I just simply click on it, then we get this particular active state of the input type. So that is for the input type. Now we need to style the button. So here we need to select the button. So the first thing is we need to actually add some padding. So padding from left and right, it's going to like 10 pixel, and then from means top and bottom is going to be 10 pixel, and from left and right is going to 50 pixel. So 50 pixel is too much for that particular button, so I'm going to actually set it to 20 pixel. You can see now the button is getting this particular effect of the padding. And then we need to add the font size. So font size is going to like 16 pixel. Then we need to add the background color. So background color hashtag, then we need to add the background color, which is 7. This is the color that we want. So if I control save it, you can see we get this particular color to the button. Then we need to remove the border. So the border is going to be like none. Okay, and then we need to add the color property. So color is going to like hashtag 3 times F. If I control save it, you can see the border is actually removed. Then we want the border radius, which is actually give us a rounded corner borders. And then we need to add the margin left property, because right now they are very close to each other. There is no margin, there is no gap between the button and the input type. So we want to apply the margin left property. If I just simply select the input type, now you can see there is a 10 pixel margin between these two elements. Alright, then we need to add the cursor property. So this is like our cursor. Cursor is going to be like pointer when we hover over the button. Then we need to add the transition. So transition, we want to transition add the background, and then we to specify the hyphen. Then it is going to be background color, then 0.3s, not 35, it is like 3s. And then we need to use the ease one. Then we need to add the button hover state to the effect, and here colon, and then we need to use the hover. After that, we need to add here background color. So background color is going to be like FF6C4A. Control C. If I hover over it, then you can see the darker version of the orange color. Alright, so this will be the button color. Now the next thing is we need to style these particular hover element also, means this particular result container and also this particular button. So first we need to select the code for the result container. So it is like result container. So I'm going to cross check the name of the result container. So the ID name, okay, so we actually want to use the class name. So it is like result, then capital C, and then the container. So I'm going to paste it here, result container. Alright, and then inside of that we need to add the code. So again I'm going to check it. Yes, so we have the class name result container. Okay, so then we need to add the display property here. So display is going to be like none. Alright, and then we need to add the background color first. So background color, it's going to be like, we want a background color which is going to be white. And then we need to add the padding. So padding is going to like 20 pixel. You can see here we have the padding 20 pixel. Then we want to add the border radius. So border radius is going to like 4 pixel. And then we need to add the box shadow property. So box shadow is going to be 0, then 3 pixel, then 6 pixel, and then we want a RGBA function. So here we want a RGBA, so this is the value that we want to use. Border, then we want the animation, so animation, and we actually want the slide in animation, which is the duration is going to like 0.35 s. So we want to create the keyframes for the slide in animation. So again, here we need to use the @, then keyframes, then we need to specify the identifier name, which is going to be like slide in. All right, and inside of that we need the 0% case, and then we want the we actually are going to use the same code. So I'm going to copy the keyframes from here, copy it, coming back to the slides version, which is the slide in version, and inside of that we just need to here change the values to 10 pixel, and then this value is going to be 0 and this value remains same. So this will be the slide in animation. All right, so this will be used, means the result will be displayed once we actually going to update the data by using the JavaScript. So we have set the display to none, so that is the reason nothing is going to be visible here. So once we actually inside the JavaScript, we are going to set it to again block level, then we are going to update the code. So now I'm going to add the CSS. So in order to see the CSS, like if I enter here some content, like if I enter here like content, just as a word here content, copy it, and again I'm going to paste it here, and coming back to style.css, and I'm going to comment out this particular code for just to see the CSS in working. You can see right now the CSS will be look like this. So I'm going to style this audio button as well, and also these particular elements, so that it will look like little bit more unique and beautiful, or I can say that it looks little bit better. So after the end of the keyframes of the slide in, we need to add here h2 element. So again, selecting the h2 element here and changing the color, just like we have changed the color of the heading. And after changing the color, we need to use the word description. So coming back to the index.html, so this is the word description. So I'm going to copy this particular from here. So it is an ID selector, so we need to use the hash symbol because it is an ID selector. And then we need to add the margin top property. So margin top is going to like 10 pixel. Control save it, and then we need to add the like code for the UL list, because the content that we are going to update it, this particular one, so we are going to add the UL tag and the ally tag dynamically by using the JavaScript. So here we need to use the UL tag. So I'm going to write the CSS already, means I'm going to write the CSS first, so that we don't need to come back to the CSS part once we start with the JavaScript. So here first we need to set the list style. So list style is going to be like none, and then we need to add the padding. So padding is going to be 0, and then we also need a list element, which is the ally tag. So opening and closing the bracket of the ally tag, and then we need to add the margin bottom, which is going to be like 10 pixel. Okay, and then we need to add here a strong, because we also need a strong tag. So inside of that, we need to use the font weight to bold, not bolder, we want the font weight to bold. And then we need to add the audio container. So again, here we need to use the hash symbol. The audio container is like this one. So copy it, the name, and then I'm going to paste it here, the audio container. Inside of the audio container, we need to add the text alignment. So the text alignment is actually going to be the center. You can see now the button is moved to the center of the container. And then we need to actually here use the margin top to 20 pixel. Alright, and then we also need here audio button. So this is the ID of the audio button. Then again, it is an ID selector. So we need to use the hash symbol. Then the name of the container, means the name of the selector, which is audio button. And then instead of that, we need to specify the code. So the first thing is we need to specify the padding. So padding from both sides is going to be like 10 pixel. And then we need to add the font size. So font size is going to like 24 pixel, which will increase the size of the button. Then we need the background color. So background color is going to like hash symbol FF7E5. So this will be the color we want to use. And then after that, we need to use the color. So color, which is the foreground color, which is going to be the white. Alright, and then we need the border. So border is going to be like none. And then we need to add the border radius. So border radius is going to like 50%, so that it will be like a rounded button. You can see now we get the rounded button, just like this one. Alright, which is the border radius. And then we need to add the cursor pointer. So when we hover over it, it becomes the pointer cursor, means the arrow is changes to like cursor or like a pointer. Then we need to add the transition. So transition is going to like background color. So it is like 0.3s. And then we are going to use the ease one. Then I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it here and then closing the body of the element. Then here I'm going to use the hover. And then we need to add the background color. So it is like a symbol, then FF6C4A. So if I hover over it, then you can see the darker version of the orange color. Alright, so this is the audio button hover code. So that's it for the CSS part of the project. Now again coming back to the main code where we have started the result container code. So I'm going to set it to display to none because we are going to update the result container display property by using the JavaScript, which is the next part of the project of our English dictionary application.